vegan and author, and today I want to do a quick update on recent stories I've done, plus give you a couple of bits of news. Now the links to the past posts and other relevant links will be below in the comments. So first, an update from the post Mega Chicken Farm. A brief backfill. New Zealand's largest chicken company, Tegal, is wanting to build a mega free range, although how it's going to be free range, it's so huge, free range factory farm in one of our most beautiful areas in the North Island, like at the top of the North Island. Now this is not a moneyed area. Okay, but the local people are really concerned, and rightly so, about the pollution of both air and water. So just to remind you, or if you didn't see it, one of the things they're going to do is burn 40 tons of manure a day. A day, people. 40 tons of manure a day is going to be burned. Anywho, updating. There's been some protesting outside council meetings. My lips and tongue are just not working today, but bear with. Council meetings as Tegal progresses towards gaining consent. And now the Kaipara Community Association is fundraising to pay lawyers and expert witnesses to be at the next really crucial resource consent hearing. Now, let's put this in perspective. At the moment, the association can afford 2 expert witnesses and, of course, the lawyers. And Tegal is going to be fronting up with 18 expert witnesses. The imbalance is ridiculous. And again, this is a fight between the rich and the poor. I'll keep you informed. Now the next update is the factory farmed pigs and the mega 13-story pig farm that a company wants to build in China. Okay. Now it looks like the 13-story, when I did that, they were still waiting for consent to have that 13 stories, but it looks like the 13-story buildings are still in the wings. Now, it's interesting, they still want to go ahead with it, which is interesting because some of the investors apparently are a little dubious about it. You see, there's been an 8-year low in Chinese pork, consumed, which has been driven by health and food safety concerns. But hey, Yang, I think the company name is going ahead. It's not at all concerned about a little bit of public pressure. It's pushing on. It's going to finish the buildings it's currently erecting, and then, which you can see in the images, and then onto the 13-story ones. Now, I also discovered that pig farms with 2 floors have opened up in the Netherlands. So it's not just solely China. And the idea of the taller buildings was mooted there, but it was faced with a public outcry against animal cruelty and environmentally damaging, and the damaging nature of this type of factory farming. So as an aside, the Netherlands is a country with almost 17 million people, and its pig population is 14 million. So the pigs are catching up to the people. Howsoever. Okay, so this isn't so much an update, but definitely goes along with my post farmers love their cows. Last month, and it does apply to New Zealand, last month hidden cameras captured an appalling case of animal abuse by a dairy farm worker, repeatedly hitting cows around the head and legs with various weapons, including a steel pipe. Obviously, this was a regular thing, as not only could you see the injuries, but the cows were scared and terrified to go into the milking shed and visibly cowered when the farmer came near. Then, right on the heels of this, came the shocking find of hundreds of dead cows and calves in an offal pit on another farm. Now, we have a government department called the Ministry of Primary Industries, or MPI, who are supposed to look out for the animals' welfare. Well, an uproar ensued when MPI didn't take the matter seriously. Even after the video footage was given to them, they actually said, he's really a good man. Now, all this is happening when the New Zealand bovine industry is under attack from the highly contagious cattle disease, Mycoplasma bovis. Now, across the country, there are 41 properties with active M. bovis infections and 158 more properties under notices. So, in a phased eradication, note that word, eradication, costing 886 million, our government will cull about 150,000 cattle. This includes milking cows. And this is all in an attempt to rid the country of the disease. I'm not sure how many had died before this announcement. I couldn't find that out, but I know it's in the thousands. So now back to pigs. New Zealand banned sow crates in 2015. Well, the other day, a farm was discovered to be still operating these vile cages. And here comes MPI again. All they did when they visited that farm after video footage had been obtained was to ask the farmer to move the pigs. You know, sadly, this ministry is all for the agricultural industry and doesn't give a toss about the animals. This pig farm is a classic case of MPI turning a blind eye to the abuse. The farmer was breaking the law and got away with it. There's a bit of a murmur out there that we need a completely new ministry just for the welfare of animals. Will it happen? Well, I'll let you know if it does. We are currently trying to put pressure on the government to ban the farrowing crates, which we still have, as well. But, you know, with the M. bovis thing, I don't know if they can deal with two animal issues at once. So I'll end with one more story, a major environmental whoopsie. The Department of Conservation, or DOC, has contracted or had contracted a private pest control business to lay 1080 poison as pest control on Stewart Island, which is at the southernmost tip of New Zealand, most of which is national park and stunningly gorgeous place. So this guy, and I think he had a couple of workers, were supposed to put the 1080 into bait bags and staple them up the trees. Instead, the staff, or the people, the workers, were instructed to bury them, meaning that the contractor got paid for doing no work. Kind of like the paper round kid who dumps the papers in the ditch instead of delivering them. I mean, you know. So a batch of 75 kilos of the stuff was discovered when one of the workers, see, my mouth is still going, one of the workers came forward with the information. Then a couple of days after that, a second large bag of 1080 was found by a hunter just out in the open. And on close inspection, it was pretty obvious that animals had gnawed the plastic and had got into the pellets. There was about 8 kilos in that bag just lying there, enough to potentially kill hundreds of animals or even kill humans. And with all the rain we've had, the seepage, you know, into the water system, who knows? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like the idea of 1080 poisoning or poisoning at all. But DOC needs to get more funding from government and do the work themselves. This used to be an amazing department. We had lots of workers. They looked after all our national parks and our animals and etc. And you know, it was a really good thing. But bit by bit, the successive governments came in and they just stripped them of their funding. So they need to be able to do the work themselves. We've got to stop farming work out to private enterprises because they always stuff it up, because private enterprise works with profit in mind, whereas DOC works with the environment in mind. So that's my updates. Turn into a bit of a rant. Sorry, not sorry. But now it brings you up with those 2 stories anyway. And I will keep you informed if there is any further stuff for you to know or I think you'll be interested in. Remember, have great food, make it plant-based, and be compassionate to all animals, including humans. Bye for now.